Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Nelson.
And I'm Rena Sargentopoulos. Things are quiet tonight at the Capitol. With the budget now passed, lawmakers worked into the early morning hours, passing more than a dozen bills and avoiding a government shutdown.
It concludes one of the most dramatic and unusual years in the state legislature's history. Danny Spiewak has been following it all, and he joins us live now from the Capitol. Danny?
Well, it feels like a lifetime ago that this regular legislative session began in January with a 3-week DFL walkout and then ended early this morning when the House and Senate came together to finalize more than a dozen budget bills to get this next 2-year budget done. Given that this legislature is divided by a single vote in the Senate and the House is tied, it's an accomplishment itself that they managed to finish this budget even with a special session needed.
There being 67 members present.
5 months ago, the legislative session opened with a half-empty House chamber.
And the House of Representatives
Mr.
is
Secretary,
adjourned.
I move to appeal the ruling of no quorum.
And a 3-week struggle that eventually resulted in a power-sharing agreement in the tied House.
Just the tie forced us to work together.
From there, GOP House Speaker Lisa Demuth and DFL House Leader Melissa Hortman had to hammer away at a budget.
And I think in the end, fighting for that equal shared power made this a better session.
The tied House complicated negotiations with the Senate, where DFL Majority Leader Erin Murphy's caucus held a 1-vote edge.
The House Democrats came in with a position, and the House Republicans came in with a very, very different position.
That led to compromise across this 2-year, $66.8 billion budget, especially in critical areas like education and taxes, plus a separate bonding bill for infrastructure. But the most significant compromise was related to state health care for undocumented immigrants.
Do you still feel it was the right move to give the Republicans that compromise on Minnesota Care?
Well, I don't agree with them.
But Governor Walz and DFL legislative leaders decided to end Minnesota Care access for undocumented adults while preserving it for children.
But it became very clear in negotiations, week after week after week, that the Republicans were willing to go all the way to the end on this and would not be able to deliver both.
Speaker Demuth has denied that Republicans would have forced a shutdown over the undocumented issue.
This was a priority that we had, but we looked at the entire budget overall. From the time we started working the beginning of the session and started meeting with the governor, there was a push to increase revenue, no matter what. That was our line in the sand.
Governor Walz said today that he will sign all of the bills that were finalized early this morning. His office just needs to do one more review of the legislation before he can make it official. But this may not be the last special session this year. Governor Walz says he expects, with federal cuts potentially looming in Washington, he may call lawmakers back in the coming months to adjust the state budget due to the impact that there could be here in Minnesota. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Danny.
A suspect is now charged